Meteorologist Casey Cloud live with you here on this Friday evening, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning right now for the Madison area, an area that was hit hard there by a hurricane last week, Idalia. This in effect till 9:15, so make sure you guys are taking precaution there. I know some of you having those blue tarps there on the roofs and the like, making things a little more vulnerable. I was just looking over before I came on there. It looked like high school football not there tonight, so that's good news. And most of the rest of the area staying pretty dry at this point. We had some storms earlier on. We were posted about this some warnings, but we're really trying to prioritize the warnings here that have been in these more vulnerable areas that have been hit by Idalia so hard. I know, kind of an odd scenario where we've just had the severe threat kind of be possible here through the last more than 24 hours here on and off. Just getting random development here per se. You see how it's pretty much dry in other places, so that's real good news for most of us for high school football, and it doesn't seem there's high school football there, but for other things going on and just for the roofs and the like, it's more of a vulnerable area because of what happened with Idalia last week there toward Madison. You kind of see that broad perspective there. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning in play until 9:15 for the Madison area. So let's go ahead and go back on over. Again, there's the temperatures. You see they're cooling off some toward the east. And we had some cloud covering spots today, but I didn't get things quite as warm as they could have got in certain areas of the viewing circle. I'll go back 4 hours here. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead and go to the current zoomed in view. So there's where we're at right now with this, and you can see central Madison County and the Big Bend of Florida under this until 9:15. At 8:22, a severe thunderstorm is located near Madison, moving west at 10 miles an hour. Madison, Cherry Lake, Hamburg, Hanson, and Hopewell here under this warning. So again, in an area that was hit hard by Idalia there last week. So again, I wanted to really focus on you guys here as we're looking at things there in toward that vicinity. Again, though 9:15, some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts a possibility. And you can see that signature there as we look on the Doppler, even back to the south and west a little. We got some wind potential in there, so you got to be mindful of it here as we're looking toward Madison there and toward Madison County. I know there's a flood advisory in play for Madison and Brooks as well. I know some of those areas that were impacted by the storm don't need more rain necessarily, and as you look, you can see some of them have gotten it. I mean, a few inches in some of these areas in the purple, so that's unfortunate here, but maybe not something that's just overwhelming, like we'd have a flash flood warning if that was the case, but there's areas, I mean, obviously, with those tarps on the roofs, you just don't need the rain. You're getting some of it right now. I know we didn't come on for some of the other warnings here today. I didn't see enough overall with them, but we ended up getting really isolated damage reports here and there with the activity. Those weren't in the most impacted areas by Idalia, but I'll go ahead and go over some of the information that we got on in. I know one thing that's worth noting here, I mean, yesterday, of course, was a lot worse, and this, we got some of those reports in here earlier on. Toward parts of McCulloch County last night around Spring Creek, we saw it on radar, and if we would have saw anything like that on radar today, we would have been on immediately, but we had damage to a home there, and damage photos from the region supporting 85 to 90 mile an hour straight line wind gust, which is very, very serious there. That was last night in McCulloch County. And then as we look here, as I go through some of the information, I mean, looking here, seeing, I mean, multiple homes had trees on them in Cairo from last night's storms. Looking even further, we had in today's report, they haven't been as severe, obviously, but wanted to emphasize the areas that have been vulnerable more so to the damage, like Madison and like Perry here, from what we had with Idalia, that was so widespread and so extensive toward some of these areas last week. I know it's a situation here where really just kind of seeing things that have that big time impact there, have that big time impact. And you can kind of see here, though, some of the reports today were quarter size hail or so, near quarter size in the Crescent City area. And then also a report there out of Flagler County, out of the Flagler County area. We had a report of several large trees. They ended up falling there along the area of Walnut Avenue and Bayberry Street, west of Bunnell. So that's kind of a storyline there. We go further in the reporting, and we had a break for a while with those coming on in, and then the other sequence of warnings that we had, we ended up getting some minor issues here in one spot. A tree down at the intersection of Highway 135. It looks like that's Highway 135 south in Lanier County. And then we also had Morven. They got hit a little bit harder. They're right around 620. We were posting this stuff on Facebook and Twitter. But around Morven, there on 620, ended up having a situation where we did have a little bit more serious damage. More rural community here, not as impacted by the storm last week, but still, power poles were down there at the intersection of Campground Road and Highway 76 in the community of Morven, Georgia. And then a tree was over power lines on a highway and Old Coffee Road. Still no reports of like trees and homes or anything, and we hope that stays the case here with Madison. Last night, though, and yesterday, it was a different story, much more potent. The activity here, and we were on for hour after hour covering it. This is a more vulnerable area because of what happened here with Idalia. With Idalia making things more vulnerable. I don't have any photos from Madison. I didn't go out that far to look at the damage there, but I know just looking at some of the damage from other spots in the Warden region. Let me give an example out of Taylor County here. Let's go ahead and see this. This was a tree that I saw on Wednesday leaning over a road there. I mean, that is really kind of scary. And when you have the winds come through, like what we might be seeing up toward Madison right now, something like this might be really in a spot where it's going to end up falling. So you don't want that, obviously. So just kind of give an example out of Perry area there in Taylor County. As we look, this storm looks like it's weakening a little bit, honestly, since we've jumped on here over the last few moments. There's still some folks in the region without some power, so from our storm system, the numbers gotten lower and lower, which is good news, obviously, but that's still a concern here to some degree as well. So again, just something to kind of be monitoring here. I know one thing I want to look at here in the Weather Center is our forecast modeling as we look ahead to tomorrow. So today's modeling, it was kind of, I mean, 50% is what I went with for today. That's probably about right. I mean, it's kind of tricky though because the models were not on the same page. Now tomorrow, well, they're a little bit better on the same page. There's like a spin here. We're really seeing things kind of move around on us here, and it's looking like maybe some storms hopefully get out of the way in time for the FSU game against Southern Mississippi and the University of Florida game against McNeese State, but can't guarantee it. So just be careful. I want to take a poncho just in case, but right now it looks like the models have the stuff kind of getting out of the way in time, which would be some good news here. But this storm here really looks like it's weakening, so I'm not seeing even the lightning all of a sudden now that we jump on here with it, which is good. That it's weakening. It's definitely good, but you can see how we had that signature come together here right there around Madison, and now all of a sudden these colors are getting less bright here pretty quickly. So hopefully that stays the case. And if we did not have a marginal risk here earlier on in the timeline, but ended up getting one added here because of the threat, and it went away, but we ended up having more warnings afterwards. So it's been an unpredictable forecast. And then looking at tomorrow, we have a risk there. Just really, as I'm looking here at my map, some kind of checking here. It looks like just really maybe the far northern part of our area might be kind of getting clipped by that. And then so that's something to kind of bear in mind. But you never know here. Again, things have been really unpredictable here. With these storms just kind of becoming severe, more of a summertime pattern, but even a little bit beyond that, having them develop early in the morning. We were on live because of Perry being impacted and that vulnerable area being hit there by some storms. I don't think we had any more reporting out of there, but the thing about it is, I mean, there's always a chance something could have got hit, and you wouldn't really know if you hadn't been looking at it really carefully if it was from the hurricane or if it was from today's severe storm, and knowing that. So it's kind of tricky there in that regard, but again, a vulnerable area being hit by a potential severe storm, but this storm looks like it's decaying pretty fast. So we might not be with you too much longer then. I mean, this looks like it's some heavy rain, which could still cause issues on those roofs there with those holes that are being covered up by the blue tarp and the like. So again, just something to kind of bear in mind here. But yeah, this looks like it's decaying here, and it looks like we have a couple of lightning strikes around, but probably not even worth pulling up the traffic cameras. And most of the rest of the area dry here, which is good news. So that's what we like to see here at this point. This signature is not looking like a severe one anymore. I'm seeing only ones to maybe 40 in here. So I tell you what we're going to do. I think we're going to go and wrap it up because I don't think they're going to keep this warning much longer. I know there's a 9:15, but we've really lost the lighting for the most part in here. I'll go to the broad perspective here real quick. I'll go to the broad perspective and we'll be able to see the instability. I mean, it's really lacking to the east. To the west, we've had some. And you can see supercell composite STP there, not so much though. So things are looking better now. That warning, that yellow box, probably going to go away shortly. And hopefully, cross our fingers because things have been tricky here. Hopefully that'll be our last warning here of the day, here today. I know there's warnings in different parts of the country. I had some nasty weather, Far East Texas there, and you can see North Texas having some of that there, and then we have thunderstorm watch up toward the northeast. It's been a busy day there. Of course, we're watching Lee, but it should not impact us here except for just those marine type conditions here, the rip current, the high surf, and the like. So that's the good news there. Again, you see the yellow box, but I mean, this is not going to stay here much longer because this storm has really decayed rapidly since we've been getting on the air here. That's the good news. I know as I'm looking at some of our forecasts, we're starting to show Lee making that turn a little bit now. So let's go ahead and see if we can jump over there and see what we're talking about. Of course, you see with the models, but now the official track kind of starts to nudge that way, which is what we like to see. We'll have to watch further up there just to see how things threaten potentially eastern Canada or a little bit further west than that. But right now, again, nothing to stress out about for our local weather. Just we'll have to watch for more scattered storms here tomorrow to see if they disrupt your plans. So just a few lightning strikes here on this mode remaining. They're not the most recent. I mean, they're from a few moments ago. Still can't rule out one here that kind of slips by us. But again, a situation here where it looks like it's on the downward trend. Last 12 hours in terms of rainfall. Didn't include this hour. You can kind of see where the storms have been. A lot of rain down toward like Levy and Marion counties there. You can see south of Williston, 3-4 inches here today. So, but not too much at all, if any, around the Stark area. We didn't have any measured on our rain gauge here today. So that's good news. You can see up there, south central Georgia area, not with that rain. And then, of course, we had the damage on Morven, Georgia. Probably most impressive of the day. We had a little bit of issues in Vanell, but again, things really scattered across. I mean, those are not close together. And really isolated here more versus we had more scattered and more organized severe weather yesterday. I mean, probably more than just scattered, probably more, I would use the word organized. So again, this storm is not impressive anymore. It was looking like it for a few moments there, enough to come on because of the vulnerabilities because of our storm system there, Idalia last week. But and they had extreme wind warning up here and the like last week with the storm system. But at this point, we're going to wrap it up. Just stay safe out there. There's still some heavy rain and a little bit of lightning, maybe some gusty winds to about 40, but this warning to go away pretty soon. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. Of course, we're here whenever we need to be with live coverage. If we just need to post about warnings, we did that quite a bit here earlier on. Facebook, there, Casey Cloud Reacts Clouds Weather, and then Twitter, which is also called X there, Cloud Casey. You can get it there. That's what most people do with severe thunderstorms, but we'd like to go on for them a lot of times. But in certain situations, feel it just makes more sense just to post about it, and that's what we did here earlier on. But of course, any tornado warning storm, we're always on for our 62 counties. Make sure you guys realize we have that commitment here to you. We've been on for every single one since late 2019. So we're watching things. We're watching a little rotation there in Flagler County earlier on. We were ready to jump on if we needed to be on there, but we never ended up having anything come to fruition with a tornado warning. So that was good news there. But again, that's going to do it for now. I hope you guys have a great night out there. Enjoy that weekend. Stay safe up. Make sure between the downpour and the lightning, I mean, if you're still recovering from Idalia, be careful there in the cleanup as well. Just be careful. I mean, you got to be careful with the lightning. You got to be careful with the cleanup there. That has turned deadly again based on media reports there in Dixie County earlier this week. So we had Lowndes County, it turned deadly, and now Dixie County to clean up the aftermath. So you got to really be careful there, folks. It's so tragic hearing the reports of what we've been hearing here in terms of that. So, again, that's going to do it for now. Of course, there's all the different platforms we're on. In addition to Facebook, Twitter, you have YouTube, there you have Twitch with the live streaming. So make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Enable the notifications there. Hit that like button as well to make sure folks really are aware here of this because the algorithm, more people like it, the more people end up getting it sent out there on their suggested YouTube feeds. So that's going to do it for now. Trying to keep everybody safe and informed. I hope you guys have a great night here and enjoy that weekend. And hopefully those Knowles get that win there against Southern Mississippi.